Sally Field still won't watch this one scene she filmed back in 1977. Sally Field was born Sally Margaret Field on November 6, 1946 in Pasadena, California. Sally Margaret Field was meant to be in entertainment. Her mom, Margaret Field, was an actress who was in many Hollywood movies during the 1940s and 1950 seconds. And her stepdad, Jock Mahoney, was a famous stuntman and actor, growing up in a house where Hollywood was part of everyday life. Field learned dearly about the hard work and exciting parts of show business. These experiences helped shape her strong spirit and her drive to succeed in every tough industry. Field's career started in the early 1960s when she was just a teenager with a natural talent for performing. Her first big break came in 1965 when she starred in the TV show Gidget, playing a happy and energetic life-and-errand teenager. Even though the show only lasted one season, it became a really popular, showing audiences Field's warmth, humor, and charm. This early role also showed her natural ability to connect with viewers on an emotional level, a skill that would become her special talent throughout her career. Just a few years later, she got another famous TV role in The Flying Nun from 1967 to 1970, where she played Sister Bertrille, a young nun whose small size and large hat allowed her to flee. Though the idea was fun and silly, the show gave Field important experience in front of the camera. Even if at the time she felt stuck by the funny and somewhat unrealistic stories, after The Flying Nun ended, Field faced a tough turning point. Hollywood, having labeled her as a comedy TV actress, was hesitant to take her seriously as a dramatic performer. But Field's stubbornness and determination wouldn't let her career stop. She got formal acting training at the Actors Studio, studying under the legendary Lee Strasberg. This decision turned out to be life-changing, helping her find deeper emotional truths and unlocking a powerful new side of her talent. Her breakthrough moment as a serious actress came in 1976 with the made-for-television movie Sybil, in which she gave an amazing and powerful performance as a woman suffering from multiple personality disorder. The role earned her an Emmy Award and changed the direction of her career forever, proving that she was way more than just a sitcom star. She was someone to be taken seriously. The late 1970s and 1980 seconds marked the peak of Sally Field's stardom as she moved smoothly from television to movies and began working with some of Hollywood's most respected directors and actors. In 1979, she starred in Normery, a powerful drama about a sugar factory worker who gets involved in union organizing. The role was both physically and emotionally tough, but Field brought a realness and strength to the character that really connected with audiences. Her performance earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress, as well as praise from critics for bringing to life one of the most inspiring female actors in American movies. When she accepted the Oscar, it marked a huge moment. The world finally recognized how talented she really was. Field's success continued throughout the 1980s with a bunch of praised performances. She won her second Academy Award for Places in the Heart in 1984, a touching Depression-era drama about a widow struggling to save her family farm. Around the same time, she starred in other memorable films such as Smokey and the Bandit in 1977, opposite Burt Reynolds, a role that showed off her charm and comedic timing, and Steel Magnolias in 1989, where she played Lynn Eatonton, a strong yet tender Southern mother whose emotional scenes brought audiences to tears. Each of these roles further proved Field's reputation as a gifted actress capable of blending strength and vulnerability, humor and heartbreak with effortless grace. In the decades that followed, Sally Field continued to deliver powerful and detailed performances both on screen and stage. Her later work in Forrest Gump in 1994, where she played the wise and loving mother of Tom Hanks's main character, introduced her to a new generation of fans. In television, she received widespread praise for her role in Brothers and Sisters from 2006 to 2011, earning another Emmy Award for her portrayal of family matriarch Nora Walker. Even in her later years, Field remained deeply committed to her art, taking on challenging roles that reflected her changing life experience and maturity as a performer. Sally Field's romantic life has been as interesting and complicated as her legendary Hollywood career, marked by marriages that reflected different chapters of her personal growth and emotional journey. Her first marriage was to Stephen Craig, a relationship that began when she was still in the early stages of her acting career and looking for stability in a fast-changing industry. The couple married in 1968 at a time when Field was best known for her wholesome television image as the cheerful and bubbly young star of Gidgeon the Flying Nun. This marriage commensuring a time of huge pressure for the young actress, balancing new fame, the demands of Hollywood, and her desire for a normal home life. Field and Craig shared a home life that for a while seemed to offer the quiet stability she wanted amid the craziness of her career. Together, they had 2 sons, Peter Craig, who would go on to become a successful novelist and screenwriter for Batman and Top Gun Maverick, and Ella Craig, who built his own reputation in Hollywood as an actor and director for Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. However, despite their shared family and the bond they built as young parents, Sally's growing ambition and changing identity began to clash with the traditional excitation of marriage at that time. The 1970 seconds were a changing era for her. She was breaking free from typecasting, trying to prove herself as a serious actress rather than just a TV sweetheart. The stress between her changing career and personal life became harder and harder to manage. By 1975, after 7 years of marriage, Sally and Stephen Craig divorced. The separation wasn't marked by scandal or public anger, but rather by accepting that both had grown in different directions. Sally later reflected that this period of her life taught her resilience and the importance of self-discovery. The end of her marriage, while painful, also marked the beginning of her rise as one of America's most respected actresses, paving the way for her award-winning performances in Sybil, Norma Ray, and Places in the Heart almost a decade later. In 1984, Sally Field entered her second marriage, this time to film producer Alan Greisman. By this point, she was no longer the uncertain young actress trying to prove herself. She was already an Academy Award winner, an established and independent figure in Hollywood. Her union with Greisman represented a more mature phase of her life, grounded in mutual respect and shared creative interests. Together, they had 1 son, Samuel Greisman, born in 1987, who would later pursue a career as a writer and director. Unlike her first marriage, Sally's relationship with Alan was shaped by her hard-earned understanding of herself, her needs, and the challenges of balancing love with the demands of a public career. Still, even with love and shared family life, the pressures of Hollywood differentiary operas, and the natural strains of time took their toll. After a decade together, Field and Greisman divorced in 1994. Their separation, though sad, was reported differently, and both continued to maintain a good relationship for the sake of their son. Sally has often spoken openly about the challenges of love and partnership, admitting that her career and her strong sense of independence honesty made relationships difficult to keep going. Yet through both of her marriages, she found not only love but also valuable life lessons about vulnerability, balance, and self-worth. In 1977, Sally Field's life and career changed forever with the release of Smokey and the Bandit, the high-speed comedy that paired her with Burt Reynolds and turned her into one of Hollywood's most beloved leading ladies. But hidden beneath the film's laughter, charm, and fast-paced action was a period of emotional difficulty that Field has rarely spoken about. Even decades later, she openly admits that there's one particular scene from that time, a specific day on the set of Smokey and the Bandit, that she still refuses to watch. There's a part off that shoot I just can't revisit, Fieldens confessed. Every time I see a clip from that sequence, it takes me right back to where I was emotionally, and it's not a place I ever want to go again. The year 1977 was a major turning point for Sally Field. She was just coming off her breakthrough making in Sybil, a demanding and life-changing television movie that turned her an Emmy Award and proved that was far more than the bubbly Gidgeter flying nun the public remembered. She was trying to reinvent herself to be taken seriously as an actress. When she joined Smokey and the Bandit, she was stepping into a world of car chases, stunts, and southern humor, a completely opposite from the intense psychological drama of Sybil. The movie, directed by Hal Needham, was supposed to be lighthearted fun. Yet for Field, one scene during filming came to represent something far deeper, a moment tangled in real-life emotions and behind-the-scenes tensions. At that time, Field had just begun her relationship with Burt Reynolds, who was already one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Their chemistry on screen was obvious, but off-screen their romance was passionate, complicated, and at times overwhelming. It was intoxicating. Field later admitted, Burt was magnetic, charming, and he made me feel seen in a way I hadn't but it was also confusing cause I was still learning who I was as a woman and as an actress during one particular scene. A playful romanticment that has since become famous among fans. Field later confessed that she felt torn between the character she was playing and the real emotions she was experiencing toward Reynolds. The line between performance and reality blurred so completely that it left her shaken. That scene was supposed to be fun, Field recalled years later, but I remember walking away from it feeling incredibly sad. Everyone around me was lying, but I was just quiet. It was the first time I realized how deeply I'd gotten caught up emotionally. To the audience, it was a charming, flirty moment that captured the heart of the film's romance. But for Field, it became a lasting reminder of how vulnerable she felt during that stage of her life every time she catches a glimpse of that particular scene. She says it feels like watching a version of myself I barely recognize. The making of Smokey and the Bandit washed in other ways too. Field was navigating a male-dominated set filled with stunt drivers, testosterone, and high-pressure expectations. She had to prove herself in an environment where Resh was often underestimated. I knew I had to hold my own, she said. Everyone saw me as this sweet girl from television, but I wanted to show I could do more at the same time. Her growing fame and the public fascination with her relationship with Reynolds added layers of pressure that made it difficult to separate her personal and professional lives. That single scene that one day off filming she can't bring herself to watch became symbolic of all the internal battles she was fighting then: love, identity, and the need for self-respect. Even decades after Smokey and the Bandit became a beloved classic, Field has kept her distance from that one scene. Fans often ask her about it at conventions or interviews, but she usually smiles and changes the subject. It's funny how a movie can hold so many memories, she once said. Some of them beautiful and some of them painful. While she looks back on the film with fondness and gratitude for what it did for her career, she admits that watching that particular part still feels too personal. There's a sadness attached to it, she confessed. Not because of the film itself that was joyful in so many ways, but because of where I was emotionally. I wasn't ready for the kind of attention and intensity that came with that period of my life. Today, Sally Field has built a legacy defined by honesty, resilience, and artistic brilliance. She has won Oscars, written a powerful memoir, and continued to challenge herself with every role. Yet, Smokey and the Bandit remains a bittersweet chapter in her story, a film that brought her love, fame, and heartbreak all at once. When asked if she'll ever sit down and rewatch that scene, Field's answer is gentle but firm. No, some moments are better left where they belong, in the past. Forcefully Field, that refusal isn't about regret. It's about acceptance, about recognizing that some experiences, no matter how significant, are too tied to how we were to ever revisit without reopening old wounds. And while fans may always cherish Smokey and the Bandit as a piece of movie history, for Field, one scene of that history will forever remain off limits. A private reminder of the complicated woman behind the beloved screen legend. Field wrote in her memoir that she suffered from severe depression in her late teens. She stated that taking acting classes helped her overcome this urgency, this anxiety, this need to find something that was festering in me.